Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. I feel it in the air, summer's out of reach. Empty lake, empty streets, the sun goes down. Driving by the walls, no, no, you're not home. I can see you, bright skin shining in the sun. You got your head on back, sunglasses on, baby. I could tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have grown. Never will forget those nights. I wonder if it was a dream. Remember how you made me crazy. Remember how I made you scream. Now I don't understand what I've been to our love. Baby, I'm gonna get you back. Gonna show you what I'm made of. I can see you, bright skin shining in the sun. I see you walking me slow, smiling at every word. I could tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have grown.
Just say, baby, more than I can do. Mr. Tyson, honey, I'm gonna beat his ass for you. I'm so crazy when you are not around. I'm a wizard, honey, I can make the world not be so round. 'Cause I feel so new, the reason is you. I get you lady, oh it's so true. I feel so fine, like ocean blue. Ooh, 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 ooh. So won't you give me a lovin'? So good. Give me a feeling. So good. Give me a lovin'. You're the magic. Give me all your love. So won't you give me a lovin'? So good. Give me a feeling. So good. Give me a lovin', lovin'. You're the magic. Give me all your love. You're so fine, babe. I need something new. Mr. Charlie's only, he will never cheat on you. I'm like fire, music without a tune. You can be the first, babe. I can get you to the moon. 'Cause I feel so new, the reason is you. I get you lady, oh yes I do. I feel so fine, like ocean blue. Ooh, 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 ooh. So won't you give me a lovin'? Give me a feeling. Give me a lovin'. You're the magic. Give me all your love. So won't you give me a lovin'? Won't you give me a feeling? Won't you give me a lovin'? You're the magic. give you loving, give you feeling, give you loving, you love the magic. Give me all your love. I want you to give me a loving. I want you to give me a feeling. I want you to give me a loving. You love the magic. Give me all your love.
I know you made fun of my. I know you. Yeah, I know you made fun of my dance moves. Yeah, turn me into memes and gifts. But I'm proud of my dance moves. Yeah, there's lots of people dance like this. Bet your father dance like me. Like I just turned 53. Your physics teacher dance like me. Chaperoning homecoming. I just let the music make me move. Shimmy like a drunk guy when his team scores. Do a little cha-cha on the dance floor. Never seen a rapper dance like this before. I'm standing by my dance moves. Yeah, I call this one the sneaky fish. I extra like this dance move. Oh yeah. And this one's called the miracle whip. You know when I sway my hips, I do cool things with my lips. Ed Grimley invented this, taught me how to jump and twist.
Drizzy Drake, you stole my moves, and that's no lie.
Hey! Yeah, you've been waiting for this moment. Well, people, here it is. Dads are getting in on this. Teachers getting in on this. Your tax guys getting in on this. Yeah.
You used to call me on the cell phone.
Some people dance like this.
Call me on the cell phone.
I swear it's cool to dance like this. Oh, yeah. I might declare it a holiday as soon as Baka get back on the road. Okay, then.
Just say, baby, more than I can do. Mr. Tyson, honey, I'm gonna beat his ass for you. I'm so crazy.
Hi, folks. I made a new song. Listen to it. If you
Politicians doing great, just be patient, have faith. Global warming so real, to the top gasoline. So true, so true. Finally, many fingers pointing me, yelling just conspiracy. Man, I'm just out of box, still sign of Livy Fox. At the end, I wanna say, we just need to sit and pray. You feel like a rocky, true, don't be no monkey. It's not logical, oceans on the ball. Staring like a bull in my aging balloon overseas. Magical gravity, welcome to the hood. Reality of Mollywood, welcome to the hood. Reality of Mollywood. The biggest crime is in a bank, call it just a money prank. But these men working still free, folks are calling misery. So true, so true. Only you. One is acting very strange, pointing out of sun rays, building tons of concrete, kicking nature to defeat. Eddie and I wanna say, we just need to sit and pray. Shoot me like a rocket, trued up in a monkey. It's not logical, oceans on a ball. Staring like a fool in my aging balloon flying over the sea. Magic over gravity, welcome to the hood. Reality of Moneywood, welcome to the hood. Reality of Moneywood. So true, yeah, only do. From a monkeys to the space, call it just a human race. Kids are dying from disease on the bottom of the list. Eddie and I wanna say, we just need to sit and pray. Shoot me like a rocket, true, don't be no monkey. It's not logical, oceans on the ball. Staring like baboon in my aging balloon over the sea. Magic over gravity, welcome to the hood. Reality of Moneywood, welcome to the hood. Reality of Moneywood. Welcome to the hood. Welcome to the hood. Reality of Moneywood. I hope you get what you need.
Away, our dreams, promises, without a
I don't love you so. You got me flipping like a flag on the pole. Well, come on, baby, let the good time roll. People out there looking at me say I got a lot of tricks up my sleeve. You got me flipping like a flag on a pole. But come on, baby, let the good time roll. Say don't let it roll, baby, let the good time roll. Say don't let it roll, baby, let the good time roll. Don't let it roll, baby, let the good time roll. Say don't let it roll, baby, let the good time roll. No, let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. Now let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. Now let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. You feel all right? Now let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. Now let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. Lord, let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. Lord, let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. Now let it roll. Baby, let the good time roll. you done? Hey, little sister, who's the only one? Hey, little sister, who's your Superman? Hey, little sister, who's the one you want? Hey, little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Hey, little sister, who is it you're with? Hey, little sister, what's your spicy wish? Hey, little sister, shotgun, oh yeah. Hey, little sister, who's your Superman? Hey, little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Oh. Back home, man. Hey, little sister, what have you done? Hey, little sister, who's the only one? I've been away for so long. I've been away for so long. I let you go for so long. It's a nice day to start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. Wow! There is nothing fair in this world. There is nothing safe in this world, and there's nothing sure in this world, and there's nothing pure in this world. Let's put something left in this world. Start again. Come on, it's a nice day for a white wedding. Whoa, what's that? Nice day to start again. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day to.
Born on the bad side. Been down since I began to crawl. If it wasn't for bad luck, you know I wouldn't have no luck at all. Hard luck and trouble been my only friend. I've been on my own ever since I was 10. Born on the bad side. Since I began to call, if it wasn't for bad luck, you know I wouldn't have no luck at all. I can't read, I didn't learn how to write. My whole life has been one big fight. Born on the bad side. I've been down since I began to crawl. If it wasn't for bad luck, I said I wouldn't have no luck at all. That ain't no lie. Ow! You know, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no kind of love. If it wasn't for real bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. You know, wine and women is all I crave. A big leg woman gonna carry me to my grave. More than the bad side. I've been down since I began to crawl. If it wasn't for bad luck, I tell you I wouldn't have no luck at all. Yeah, my bad.
Put on your red dress, baby. Are we going out tonight? Put on your red dress, baby. Are we going out tonight? Well, in a Western boxing glove, in case some fool might wanna fight. Put on your high heel sneakers, wear your wig hat on your head. Put on your high heel sneakers, wear your wig hat on your head. Well, I know you're pretty cool, cause I'm pretty sure you're gonna knock me. Here's why, y'all. Well, you went out last night, baby, and the night before. Telling you right now, baby, I ain't gonna take it no more. You better hear me, baby. Don't believe what I said. Well, you don't straighten up, baby. Woman, I'm going upside your head. Listen. Well, you think you so smart, baby. Men don't call you fine. You better have them to know, baby. You're mine, all mine. You better hear me, baby. Don't believe what I say. Let's go. Well, you don't straighten up, baby. Woman, I'm going upside your head. Oh, yeah. Come on now, Albert.
It makes me think of the creepy porn lawyer, man. I mean, if you don't like what I'm saying, woman, I'm going upside your head. I mean, think about it. It's 1 minute we have this paragon of virtue, this pinnacle of what it means to defend women and to be there to stick up for an aging, washed-up porn actress that does have a working studio that's producing pornography. When he met her, she was doing okay, and now she's going around the country. And this is the way I'm gonna put it to you, Quinn, as we start this. This is what's happening. As Stormy Daniels is dancing at these clubs, 2% of the people that are there to see her naked and dancing naked. That's the truth. 2% of them are there. That's what they're there for. They are there to see Miss Clifford, Stormy Daniels, take off her clothes and dance. But the other 98%, you've got 49% on one side that are there to be like, Miss Clifford, aka Stormy Daniels, has the right to be here and we support her and she's exposing the president. And you have the other 49% there to spit on her, to throw Coca-Cola bottles at her, which has happened. All the things I'm going to mention have happened. I'm not just making them up. To call her filthy names and to degrade her in all these ways that, to be perfectly honest, Lord Quinn, before I just go on for another 30 seconds and kick it right off to you, have you ever been to a strip club?
Only once.
How were the women treated? Were they treated with respect there?
Actually, yes, they
Yes.
were.
Okay. And now listen, I'm telling you, I'm going to go on for 30 more seconds. I'll kick it off to you because, sir, that is the norm. What's happening to Miss Clifford, to Stormy Daniels, is not the norm. She's now become polarized, and she's going to these places and people are spitting on her, Lord Quinn. They're mocking her, and she wants to know, where is her GoFundMe? And so I said 30 seconds. I think it might have been 25. Kick it off. Have you followed this story? Have you seen anything about this as I pull up the actual article?
Well, I've been keeping a vague eye on it. I mean, I absolutely love the fact he's called the creepy porn lawyer. I think that is the perfect name for the dude. I saw him on the news, and seriously, they may as well have just put the banner above his head saying "pervert here."
Pervert here, you say?
Oh my God, yes. There's just something about that man. It screams pervert. And yet I understand that, the opinions of the guests on the Ogre Show are the opinions of the guests, not the Ogre Show. But you know what? I don't care. I think that man is the atypical pervert. If you looked up the word pervert in the dictionary, there really should just be a picture of that man there. He really creeps me out.
I'm looking right now on Drudge. That's where I found it before, but it must be. There's so much news going on. I think it's buried. I'll find it in my. I will find the actual article. So, but for now, I'll just paraphrase some things. Miss Clifford is saying, Stormy Daniels, I understand, but I may call her Miss Clifford because that is her name. She's saying, that she wonders where this money's been going, and she's been asking the creep CPL. I'm not going to even, whatever. His name's Avenatti. We all know that. That's the last time you'll hear me say his name, because to me, he's the creepy porn lawyer, or CPL, aka the name I just said. So bear with me. If you don't know that, you ain't following it. By the way, did you know, Lord Quinn, it was Tucker Carlson that gave him that moniker?
Oh my God. You know what? Nice one from him then.
Yeah, he coined that. Never heard that. In fact, he just coined it. And when he was on Tucker's show, he was like, I'll be polite to you as long as you're polite to me. And I won't call you, CPL, creepy porn lawyer. I'll call you, MA. And so MA said, okay, I'll come on. Boom. He was such a dick to Tucker that at the end, he was like, creepy porn lawyer, thanks for coming on. That's how he ended the segment right there. I was like, yeah. And Tucker, it's all about crushed or crushed. I don't know who crushed who. Go watch it, and you decide for yourself. In my opinion, there was a clear winner of that talk, and the truth is now bared out, Lord Quinn. I mean, he's a piece of shit that is actually sapping this woman. She said she's using her face and her name with a new GoFundMe after she's been asking what's going on with the money from all the other GoFundMes, and she did not authorize this new one.
Oh my. He is basically scalping her, getting as much money as he can and running off and leaving her to her fate. Oh dear, oh Lord. Whatever happened to the days when lawyers were meant to actually work for the greater good of the person they're working for? It's appalling, it really is.
Well, much to my bloodline's shame, too many Jews got involved in it. Hey, listen, I can say that I'm Jewish, and I mean that. And when you start to just make litigation a profit, and you throw a bunch of my family members that I know personally into it, and so you can make money from litigation, that's not a good. Don't do that.
I completely agree. And now, one thing I would like to say is this is like the first time I've been able to actually get onto one of your shows. I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving, and same to everyone in the chat. Hope you had a good time, and it's nice to be back, sir.
Well, it's not that I'm overly selective, but I know a lot of people, and we usually I keep it to one, maybe two, because crosstalk sucks. And this way, you're going to be able to, say, ogre, if I'm talking and you need to make a point, and you'll be able to speak, I'll be able to speak. And it's so much easier for anyone listening. And you will be able to actually say anything that you need to say. So I don't want to, and I want to beat this first thing into the ground and I'm about over just looking at it for it on Drudge. I'm just going to type it into Google. But what I'm first thing, well, I guess this is the second thing. So I already asked you one question, but how about the idea that we just heard from this same fella that right now has two women? One says he kicked her in the face. Creepy porn lawyer.
Yeah.
His girlfriend threw her out of the house when she tried to come back, get some of her stuff. He fought with her, ended up kicking her in the face, according to her. To me, he's innocent until proven guilty. And now we have Miss Clifford saying that he sued Trump against my will. I didn't want him to. I didn't give him the go ahead. He sued. And also he's used my face now with another GoFundMe when he hasn't even told me where the funds have gone from the other GoFundMes. I'm still working in nightclubs, having people spit upon me. So there you go, Quinn. I know you got something to say about that. Listen, do you consider me a white knight?
No, sir.
Okay.
You are most definitely not
because I want to be careful here. I don't want to sound like that I'm trying to just go, oh, Miss Clifford, and stick up for her. I to be bluntly honest, I think she's as bad as the creepy porn lawyer. Not because she's a porn actress either, dude. I mean, I can think of Asia Carrera. There's one. I can think of some porn actresses that are actually really kick-ass people. They just liked to fuck, and they got paid to do it, so they put the two together and made money. And then you have this. I am wondering now. So let me make this the second question. Do you think in your mind right now, as the facts are starting to be laid out, do you think this was Mrs. Clifford, a.k.a. Stormy Daniels' idea? Or do you think maybe she was pressured from the beginning to even start this whole thing?
Honestly, I actually think it's all him. He's doing it to get his face out there, and to be fair, that man has a face for radio. But, sorry, I know I shouldn't say things like that, but no. I actually think he's doing most of the work. She's just the excuse he's got to actually get himself out there. He's trying to make himself famous. And, well, hopefully it's going to bite him on the ass, and it's going to bite him deep, because I do not like him. There is something about him that makes me inside go, oh, no, get away from me. And I'm not one of those, oh, don't talk to me, or any of that sort of rubbish. I have my opinions, and I stick to them. But that man, I would not piss on him if he was on fire.
Yeah, he's something else. So very quickly, I'll probably go through a couple paragraphs here just so it's not, so far it's been my words. And yes, I went to Fox News, even though I think it was CBS or ABC or one of these other places that broke this, but I like Fox as far as this kind of thing goes, because I like cream in my coffee. It's no more than that. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Fox is any more reputable or trustworthy than MSNBC or any of the others. But I would say there are a few of the anchors that I do like, but forget it without mentioning them. So this is Stormy Daniels says lawyer Avenatti sued, and listen, I'm going word for word. I said I wouldn't say his name again, but I'm not going to just blank it out when somebody wrote it. That would be censorship. Stormy Daniels says lawyer Avenatti sued Trump for defamation without her okay. That's incredible. This is by Samuel Chamberlain at Fox News. Stormy Daniels claims Avenatti sued Trump without permission. Adult film actress Stormy Daniels claimed Wednesday that her attorney, Michael Avenatti, sued President Trump for defamation without her approval and launched a second fundraising campaign to raise money, quote, without my permission or even my knowledge, and attributing words to me that I never wrote or said, close quote. In a statement to the Daily Beast, Daniels said that Avenatti has been a great advocate, quote, Avenatti has been a great advocate in many ways, close quote, but she added, quote, in other ways, Michael has not treated me with respect and deference an attorney should show to a client, close quote. Quote, for months, I've asked Michael Avenatti to give me accounting information about the fund my supporters so generously donated to for my safety and legal defense, Daniels said, quote, he has repeatedly ignored those requests days ago. I demanded again repeatedly that he tell me how the money was being spent and how much was left. Continuing, quote, instead of answering me, Michael launched, and this is a gap. I don't know, for those of you that are just listening, it says instead of answering me, ... So she said some other things between there. Who knows what they were. Instead of answering me, ... Michael launched another crowdfunding campaign to raise money on my behalf. I learned about it on Twitter, added Daniels, who also said that she had not yet decided if Avenatti would continue to represent her. Avenatti responded with a statement obtained by Fox News, quote, I am and have always been Stormy's biggest champion. I have personally sacrificed an enormous amount of money, time, and energy towards assisting her because I believe in her. I have always been an open book with Stormy as to all aspects of her cases, and she knows that. You need only look back at her numerous prior interviews where she states we talk and communicate multiple times every day about her cases. Quote, the retention agreement Stormy signed back in February provided that she would pay me $100 and that any and all other monies raised via legal fund would go toward my legal fees and costs. Avenatti went on, quote, instead, the vast majority of the money raised has gone toward her security expenses and similar other expenses. The most recent campaign was simply a refresh of the prior campaign designed to help defray some of Stormy's expenses. Listen, folks, everything he says after this, legal fees and costs, it has raised the majority. He did $100. He told her, you pay me $100. And anything we raise, I will take care of the money. He's telling you this too in lawyer speak. This is what he just said right here, folks. If you listen carefully, what he just said right here is I agreed to represent Stormy Daniels for $100 and to take over power of attorney of any fundraising campaigns afterwards regarding security and legal defense. And I have been defending her and make sure she's safe. Well, did that safety include not letting her have to work in nightclubs and get spat on? Lord Quinn, as I kick it off to you, because I read enough there. Did you hear enough of this article to comment on?
No, I completely agree with you, sir. I mean, at the end of the day, legally, he can claim he prior informed her of the situation. But I'm sorry, what this man is doing is just absolutely wrong. Don't get me wrong, I'm no great fan of her by any stretch of the imagination. But after the way he's been with her, he's actually managing to make her seem like an almost halfway decent person. My God, that man is just disgusting. I don't know how it works in America, but over here, he should be disbarred and thrown out of any sort of lawyer actions. The man.
Now, hang on. On what grounds? Because so far I don't know that he's been convicted of anything yet. Do you mean pending any conviction on something, or tell me what you mean?
Oh yes, very much pending any conviction he has. But in all fairness, let's work on the idea of innocent until proven guilty.
Please, that's what I was pointing out, and I think you would agree with that. So carry on.
Oh, yes, definitely. I'm a great believer in.
I mean, as soon as you were saying that, I was thinking of Brett Kavanaugh, brother, and I know how you felt about that.
Oh,
so,
God.
I mean, we can't just say he's guilty of something Hi, Mr. Stonley. So glad that you're here. But carry on, sir. I don't want to cut into this. These are we might have some people from Pete Santilli's chat, and all y'all out there make him feel welcome. You probably recognize them, memes, Tim Tarbox, all y'all that went over there last night. So make him feel welcome so that Lord Quinn can carry on. So where were you at? So we're going to go with innocent till proven guilty. But what was the measure that this same creepy porn lawyer was putting on Brett Kavanaugh with this Svetnik? Do you remember that, Lord Quinn? I know you're British, but you followed this stuff.
Oh yes. Okay, this is all my opinion, and again, we are keeping it to the innocent until proven guilty. But the actions that this man is taking in her name isn't acceptable. At the end of the day, he is supposed to work for her. So if they may have had this prior agreement, and if they did, they did. I'm not going to attempt to say that anything was done wrong. But he's supposed to be working for her benefit, not his own. That is not how it should be. He should be doing everything to get her, the success and the completion that she actually needs. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that her actions should be excused and the claims that were made in her name. Whether it was her or him, I don't know at this point. But whatever happened to the concept that the lawyer worked for the accused, or in this case, the defendant? He seems to have taken this on as his own thing, and she is nothing more than a face that he can use to get his name out there.
Almost a meal ticket.
Yes.
I mean, when you think of kids, even in his answer that I read there, I don't want to go ad nauseum, but he says it very carefully. She says, for months I've asked Michael Avenatti to give me accounting information about the fund my supporters so generously donated me for my safety and legal defense. When you come down here, it says Avenatti responded with a statement obtained by Fox News. Quote, I am and have always been Stormy's biggest champion. I have personally sacrificed an enormous amount of money, blah, 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 blah. Where is it? And now it comes down to the retention agreement Stormy signed back in February. Let me share this with you all. It's in the dark block as I read it. Back in February, provided that she would pay me $100 and that any and all other monies raised via legal fund would go toward my legal fees. Now, here's the funny thing. He goes down here and later on says everybody can see how good our communication is. Apparently, this is how they communicate about monies raised with her face likeness. Listen, for years, she has been sucking cock, swallowing it so deep her eyes are watering while some other dude is banging her from behind, calling her a dirty whore. She's been doing that and getting paid for it. Now, we have this dude using her face and likeness for $100. I mean, when's the last time you think Mrs. Daniels has allowed her face and likeness to be used to this extent for $100? I mean, we could focus on that, Lord Quinn. This is disgusting. This guy is beyond creepy porn lawyer. I mean, and I'm with you. We ain't going to hash it. Opinions are like assholes. We all got them. They stink like shit. Lord Quinn's, mine too. Yours too, audience, and everyone else's. So that said, this son of a bitch is not – look, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You sit up there and you start talking about, well, we got to believe survivors and we must believe women. And then you release statements like this after a female that you allegedly representing is asking you where all the money that has been made from her likeness, her story, her name is going. And you answer it this way. Once you're exposed as an alleged wife beater, no shit. I mean, that's so weird, Quinn, because like that's the old go-to, right? It's like that's the unanswerable question is why do you beat your wife? Well, hey, if he's found guilty too, apparently he ran down the stairs and he's on tape. TMZ has it, him saying she hit me first. I'm just going to ask you as a reasonable question, Lord Quinn. If I say you hit me first, what does that imply?
Well, simply put, it means you swung back.
It means that I did hit you, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So regardless of his story, he did admit with that statement that he hit her because he said, she hit me first. So whether or not she did, and maybe she did, maybe he was defending himself. It'll all come out. I'm still saying like you did. But, man, the best thing said so far on CPL is what you said. When the first time you seen him, you said that it should have been a banner above his head that said pervert here with an arrow pointing down at him. Because he just looks, and look at me, Lord Quinn. Who am I to talk? Because let's face it, Lord Quinn. If you're strolling down the street and I come out of a dark alley, you don't know who the hell I am, but you just look and I am coming at you out of a dark alley. What's your first impression of that? So I don't want to judge because I'm saying, judge somebody by their looks. Maybe people have their own opinion about my looks. So it's hard for me there, but he does look and now act like a creepy porn lawyer.
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, as I've said before, I'm no oil painting, or at least, not any halfway decent one, to say the least. But there is something about that man that just makes something inside me feel unclean.
I'm going to go to the beer fridge while you talk. I was asked a question, where's the beer fridge? Watch Mr. Stonley while he talks.
No problem, sir. Like I was saying, there's something about him that just absolutely creeps me out. Genuinely, if I met him, I'm very confident that I would not like him. He comes across, and I know they've given him the nickname of the creepy porn, but even if they hadn't given him that name, I would actually believe he's already creepy, i.e., and I know this is very much an English term, but he's a wrong un. You understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
Good. As I say, I'm not trying to prejudge the gentleman, and he may well be a halfway decent person. He might be good to animals and small children, all that lot. But there is something about that man that makes me think, get away from me, you freak. That's my opinion, and that's the whole point of these shows. It's actually good.
Well, and I love the ad homs. I've been doing it too. It's funny for me to hear you say those things. But let's face it, we have now, to me, it's a way, it's catharsis on our part because it's making us feel good because we thought these things about him, right? Everybody that has a brain thought that there was a good possibility that creepy porn lawyer was exploiting Stormy Daniels and that he was exploiting Svetnik there. And that he would, obviously, when you looked at Julie Svetnik's testimony about Brett Kavanaugh, rape parties, standing in line to hump the same chick. With all due respect, I used to go to some pretty cool parties and sometimes never rape parties, but some pretty cool parties where the people get laid. Man, nobody there was standing in line to hump the same chick like 10 deep. In fact, that would have been considered like, ooh. Well, we would joke with people about getting sloppy seconds. I don't want to go too deep in the weeds with that, but I hope you understand where I'm going with that, Lord Quinn. It's not like it would have been like bragging rights to say, oh, yeah, me and 9 of my buddies humped this chick. I was number 7.
I'm sorry, that is just gross.
Kind of. It smacks of glory hole, bukkake.
Yeah. It's okay. I know. Sometimes I come across as a bit prudish, but that to me is just wrong. I'm sorry, but how about a little bit of respect for the person that you're with, Lining up in a group to bang someone, no, that's not right. That is just, ugh.
Yes.
Of course, honestly, do you really want to be there stirring the porridge with, 9 other people? No, thank you.
No. I mean, basically, one of the funniest things Gavin McInnes ever was, I was listening to Gavin McInnes one time. He's talking to Joe Rogan, and he was telling a story about having sex with a girl with another guy, and he said he started the expedition off without a condom on, and at the finish of it, he had a condom on. And like any of us, Joe Rogan was like, but that means your penises, you like put it and it ended up in there from in the, and this was Gavin McGinnis's response. This is not the first time I've repeated it on the channel. I loved it. It was so great. It's ingrained in me and I loved it. He was like, well, look, man, if you've got two mobsters and they've shot some guy downtown and they're trying, they got the corpse here and they're digging a grave now and they're in there digging and their shovels clink together. They don't stop and like, you look at each other, and that was his that was how he explained why he didn't care if he was humping a chick with a buddy of his and their balls touched, semen exchanged, or he ended up with a condom on when he didn't start with one on. And so there you go.
That's just gross, dude.
And then, I mean, it's funny, Lord Quinn, but to be honest, I think about some of the stuff you say. I would rather sit down and try a platter of barbecued human, maybe a little broiled, possibly some boiled dinner with haunch of man, that kind of thing. I'd rather that than like hump. I don't know when I can go there again. I've already went so far that it made me I was puking in my throat a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, sir. It's just, no, I'm sorry. I was always brought up to show respect. And doing something like that is not showing respect, in my opinion.
No.
I realize some people enjoy that. That's their choice. I do believe greatly in free will, but not for me, sir. Not for me.
Well, now that I've got you here too, we've got also, I don't know how long I have you. I'm going to go until at least 10 minutes till the top of the hour. Then I suggest, thank you, Stoney, for being here. Stoney, I would like to make you a moderator here. Is that all right, Lord Quinn?
Oh, of course, sir.
He's cool, man. He's from this other channel, and that way he can leave a why I asked Lord Quinn Stoney is he's my head moderator here. He kind of makes a lot of the decisions as far as that stuff goes. But if you will, Mr. Stoney, put a link to Mr. Santilli for Pete Santilli's. He was busting my balls yesterday, Lord Quinn, because you know me. I was calling him Mr. S. And man, I for one thing, it's a mnemonic for me. Because Pete Santilli isn't like Lord Quinn or Memes of Destruction or Tim Tarbox or any of these things that it's not a name, it's a moniker. And I'm not good with names. I'm fine with monikers and nicknames because it's different. I mean, because you also usually most of us here in this medium, Jensen Quinn, Lord Quinn fits you because of your accent. You have the serpent there eating its tail, the infinity sign there. And it all just came together. I mean, most of the time when people either get or give themselves a nickname on the internet, it is a mnemonic to them. I mean, Memes of Destruction, Anyway, we could go on and on and on about that. Now I feel like I'm kissing ass. So thank you so much, Mr. Stoney, and welcome to church is what we usually call this. We have song service in the beginning, and it's a very secular church. Yes, your beloved, ever-loving, blue-eyed ogre is a Christian. I do believe in God, but I also welcome heathens like Lord Quinn, who, I don't think he believes in God. He doesn't have any kind of, morals or anything like. Would you explain to us, what are your morals? What are your guidelines?
Oh, very simply, of what I do not go with the standard set of morals most people do. I actually believe in the whole thing of I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I choose not to cause other people harm unless they try and cause me harm. But equally, if someone actually gets to that point, I will rain all fiery fucking hell down upon them. Do excuse me for swearing there. But when it comes to morals, I do what I think is the right thing to do, not necessarily what the community and the law says is right. I do what I feel is right because at the end of the day, I only answer to myself. I don't have to deal with society in the same way because I don't agree with most of the crap that society does, simply put. So as long as I feel I'm doing the right thing, I'm going to carry on doing it because I do my damnedest not actually to cause other people harm. And in all fairness, if I do, I will apologize to them. I'm hoping that has been
Dude, fuck them. I'm going to say on your behalf, fuck them. If you cause them harm from any way that I've observed you, fuck them. Either they're pussies. I mean, there's been times you pissed me off. I've told you about it. But then like looking back and seeing your consistency, all right? This is what I'm going to say about it. Looking back and considering, and you know what I'm talking about. Looking back and seeing your consistency. In other words, I'm not seeing you treat anybody else differently than you treated me. And I'm not, see what I mean? So any reasonable person would say, if you harm someone, you harm us all equally. And if you don't harm someone, you help us all equally.
I do my best to, I really do. And I don't, let me rephrase that. I try not to be a part of drama and things. But if I do, I hold to my personal moral code. And simply put, I'm willing to accept the fact that if I've done something to piss someone off, they have the right to come at me, and I will treat them the same way. Until then, I will try to be friendly with pretty much anybody, not including creepy porn lawyer, because that makes me feel ill just seeing him. It really does.
And we took the piss out of him. But look, now that I've got you here also, this is just popping up on Drudge from the last time I refreshed. And it's all just blatantly big and new. Rat Sings and Michael Cohen, this guy that once used to brag to people in bars that he was Trump's consigliere. That he was his, the name's going to slip me. He was his, the guy that Duvall played in The Godfather. That he was his, he was his mob lawyer, so to speak. And now you have Jerome Corsi, Roger Stone, and Paul Manafort. I mean, under tremendous pressure. Paul Manafort's already incarcerated, been in jail, won't sing. And now this scumbag, this guy that talked all that trash, Lord Quinn, this guy that was like, I am his, consigliere. If you are, this is the best word I can see to describe this man. That there is no better word than the one you see right here. He's a fucking rat. He's a dirty fucking sleazebag rat hopping in the back of this, sucking the dick of Robert Mueller, the same guy that got Whitey Bulger just killed, is what it looks like. I mean, this same scumbag. This guy, and this is supposed to be the consul. This is supposed to be the stand-up guy that was there till the end. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break.
I agree with you. You look at that picture. You look at that man's eyes. Okay, he's not as bad as CPL, but he's another one I don't think I could actually work with. There's something about him. I'm a great believer in looking in someone's eyes and making my judgments there. Because after all, like the saying says, the eyes are the window to the soul. And that man's eyes, no, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that the guy looks guilty. He just looks wrong.
Well, he said hang on. He said he was guilty, Lord Quinn. In this case, he said he was guilty. He's pleading guilty. He's a scumbag. He's a turncoat.
Yeah. Well, my opinion when it comes to traitors. To say the least, I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah, I do wonder what he tastes like. He's awful fat.
Yeah.
Plumped right up. Not to put too fine a point on it.
Yeah, I would have absolutely no problem shoving that guy on the barbecue, and I didn't actually say that he was dead before I put him on it.
That is just, I can't get over it because I love it too. I jumped on the barbecue bandwagon because once in a while I look at somebody and I think the same thing, Lord Quinn. It's like, this is the kind of person I wouldn't mind, because you don't use rope because the rope will burn. You chain them to a spit, and you roast them. And that's what you do with them, and you eat them. I mean, that's the way they're not wasting anything. I just find it that in the end, I mean, we can go on about so many things, but we'll stick on this topic for a little while. the migrant caravan, Angela Merkel talking about how it's fine to let as many Muslims in the country, and now they're changing their tune. Even, did you hear, even Hillary Clinton now has come out and said, and not just Hillary Clinton, I think Biden and Kerry, they've come out and they were like, oh, they're overran now. Too much migration is destroying them and hurting them. What the fuck, Lord Quinn? These are the people that want you to take in more. I'm going to be politically correct here because I want to use the word that rhymes with Uzzies.
Yes.
But this is, they want you to take more Asians, more Southwest Asians, and to your country, when the ones that you have there are not assimilating. Second generation doesn't speak your language. They like your white women to rape them, to drug them, to coerce them, and to groom them, to be fondled, molested, and fucked by grown, greasy men that don't even look like your forefathers. And not that it would make it better if they did, but do you get the pathos of what I'm saying, Quinn?
Oh, of course. I mean, right. I know sometimes I can come across as a little bit xenophobic, but I've got no problem with foreigners that want to come to my country, obey the laws of the country, and fit in with the society that we've got. At the end of the day, we've had our society for, well, basically 4+ times the length of your country. Let's be fair. I mean, we've got our own society set up. If you want to come over here and you want to fit in with us, awesome. You'll be welcome with open arms. I have no problem with a person based on their race, gender, religion, etc., etc., etc. If they're going to be a decent person, then they are welcome to sit with me, smoke a joint, and basically shoot the breeze. But when they come over, segregate themselves, and then try to change our laws to the laws of their country. I'm sorry, if their laws are so damn good, go back,
stayed there,
and make it the country that they actually want it to be.
Yeah, go back to where you're at. Because acid attacks, Lord Quinn.
Oh God, no.
Well, that's the way. That's what you want to see in your country. Your countrymen getting knocked off their own scooters and scooter gangs throwing acid on some innocent woman or grown man. Who cares what it is? A middle-aged white man. Who cares? Throwing acid on a Londoner right in their face.
No, it's wrong. I mean, I know that there is going to be crime in the world. It is how it is. You know, it's all well and good to wish upon a star and all that lot. You know that there is going to be crime and there are going to be dickheads out there.
Well, yeah. So since you know that, what about Hartlepool? You know what's going on and what just went on Hartlepool, right? Was that an angry mob? Were that vicious protesters? What was that in your opinion?
Actually, I don't know about this. Please tell me. This is
they had like 400 people get together up in Hartlepool and say, start patrolling. They said the cops don't come here and help us. We got too much problems, gangs and shit. They haven't said much because in your country they never say if it's Muslims, and I do assume. Sorry, I don't. I tell you one thing: in your country, I don't assume it's black people, which in my country I usually do because they commit most of the crime. Call me a racist if you want. But in your country, I automatically assume it's the Muslims because they're the ones, and that means Somali all the way to West Asian, and you know what I mean. That could mean a wide range. So really, it's hard to say racist. It's almost that it's demi-theist.
Yes,
I want to say demi-theist because I ain't anti-theist. I'm not against the C of E. I'm fine with the C of E. I'm not for these other things coming in and saying that Buckingham Palace will be a mosque.
Not while I'm still capable of doing something about it. I can tell you that for nothing.
That's not for nothing, my brother. That's good news. I want to hear that from every Englishman alive. If you're an Englishman out there and you want Buckingham Palace to be a mosque, hey, I mean, you suck.
Yeah. Completely agree, mate. I'm sorry. I mean, Buckingham Palace is the home of our Queen. For God's sake, if you're a real Englishman, I accept that some people don't like the monarchy,
That's
but
fine.
they've got to understand this person has ruled our country for the absolute longest amount of time, and she's done a damn good job. She's had some
Damn
pretty
good job.
crappy, but you don't try to change stuff that way, man. That is just wrong, in my opinion. As far as I'm concerned, she is our queen, and I will support her quite literally my last breath.
There's no difference between what you're talking about and when Barack Obama was president. Hey, man, I don't want to hear. I don't like to hear, especially foreigners, but anyone just disparage the president ad hominem. If you don't like one of his policies, tell me the policy. And then you have things like, and they didn't do this so much to Obama, but they did other things. And I was there to stand up for Obama when he's in office. I want to rehash too much of that. But now you have things like, oh, tear gas on the border, Lord Quinn, here recently in the States with Tijuana. But they use tear gas like on a weekly basis. It's all documented for the last 10 years. Do the math. There was a different president involved. You know who it was. Everybody knows who it was. But they didn't say anything. So you can't hate a policy now. Oh, you're separating the children and incarcerating them. And then we know that it's been going on for over a decade. Same exact thing. You can't hate it now and hate the policy now and say, and I've heard this because it's this person. Do you know who Jim will fix it, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, do you love him now in your heart? When you were a kid, what did you think of Jim will fix it? What did you think of Jimmy Savile? Did you know him when you were a kid?
Oh, yes.
What did you think of him in your heart then?
Back then, again, going back to the CPL thing, there was something about the dude, but I could not put my finger on it. But in all fairness, you know, it is what it is.
No, but tell us. So I kind of cut you off. So even back then, you're not bullshit. You're not just using hindsight. You're saying back then, even then, you looked at him as, tell me exactly how you felt about Jimmy Savile when you were 12 years old and you were examining this person.
Right. Back in the day, when I was 12, I saw the guy on a few children's shows, and I don't know, just something about the way he looked at the kids. It seemed a little bit off, but obviously I was too young to really understand the expressions. Granted, now when you can look back in hindsight, like you said, 2020, you can see that something was off. But, you know, he came across as a decent guy. He'd done his shows, he'd done his charity works. It's only nowadays that we hear all these absolutely horrific things about the man. But as I say, even then, I knew that he was just creepy. I think that is the best word I can give.
So you didn't feel, when you were young, you didn't feel what a lot of young people did back then. You didn't feel like drawn to him, like you didn't feel in your heart like I'd like to meet this guy or anything like that.
Not even.
No. Oh, that's all right. I might have caught you taking a break. And that's strange, man. And I appreciate it. I believe you're being honest with me. I know you enough to honestly believe that whatever you have done and will do, and whatever you would think in your heart, you would share with people. Because to me, I look back, in a way, it's because of the I was going to say Rick Rude, but because of the hair that he had, that is like the wrestler, woo, the bleach platinum hair that he had.
Oh, Ric Flair.
Like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And it was because of his teeth that were so English. I mean, all these things in and of themselves, when I look back now, it's like, wow, he's fucking creepy. Well, because I knew who he was. He promoted the Beatles. I mean, I knew who Jimmy Savile, and plus my mom was inordinately in love with you-all's culture in the 80s and 90s. And in the 80s, I was a youth at home. And so, or at least the beginning part, but up to 89. And so, I mean, all these, you name it. If any sitcom that you loved or your parents loved in the 80s from Channel 4 or whatever. I mean, she'd even know all the channels, or whoever produced them. She loved them too. And so I was exposed to that kind of thing. And I tell you, man, I got fooled. I was fooled. I thought he was a great guy. To me, it would be like me finding out that Captain Kangaroo. Because when you look at Captain Kangaroo and look back at him now, do you know who he was, Lord Quinn?
I've heard the name, but I could not give you any further information than that.
Pretty deep Americana. You know who Mr. Rogers is, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I'll use that analogy because it's the same. It would be like me finding out that Mr. Rogers was because what we found out about Jimmy Savile is that he is worse than the Podesta brothers. That he actually molested and raped people from ages 88 down to 8 and everything in between. He apparently liked to molest them on camera. And then afterwards, he would go back and rape a lot of these people, like flat out rape them. But on camera, he liked to have his hand up the dress of some 78-year-old woman and, doing this to her, dude. And then what's that woman going to do? She is thinking, the camera's on me. I know we're live, and Jimmy Savile is finger banging me.
That man is, well, okay, I'm basing this on the things that we know nowadays, not on the feelings I had as a kid. Like I said, I thought it was a bit weird, but I couldn't put my finger on what was wrong.
Yeah, and we dealt with that, so carry on.
Yeah. The guy, the things he did, I know this is going to sound a bit harsh, but he got away with it by dying. I think he should have survived and actually been fully charged and punished for his crimes. Death was not an acceptable punishment for that man.
No, because he died a night and everything else, right?
Yes, that's wrong. That man is disgusting. In my
full on fucking like horse-drawn chariot to burial. I mean, he was given a state funeral. He was the whole regalia.
Oh yeah. Well, simply put, he was a sir. And that actually means something over here. When someone actually has a sir in front of their title, at that point, that's someone who obviously deserves what they were given. In Jimmy Savile's case, no. What that man deserves is to be taken somewhere and beaten within an inch of his life for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit extreme, but I'm allowed my opinion.
Oh, you're definitely allowed your opinion. And I just want to thank again. I don't see him in. He might have actually said he had to leave. Someone else did say they had to leave, and I missed it. I saw it go by. It was who is that? Mike. Yep. Thanks for coming by, Mike. If you go back and do catch the end of this, you're a great interlocutor. We enjoy having you in the chat. And I know, chat, I'm looking back, Wood has mentioned me and said some things. And if Jensen Quinn wasn't here, I would be reading a lot more of the chat and getting a lot more involved. But for the most part, hey, isn't it better when I just don't get involved? And you can hear what I have to say right now. I mean, I'm saying it. And this way I'm not, putting my dick in every vag hole that comes along, so to speak. It was funny, too, because here's, we already talked about it. I'm not going to go back there. I just can't get over it, Lord Quinn, because Mr. Stonley was like, I'd bang her. Speaking of, and look, watching porn, I'm not going to say anything about watching porn. I'm not going to comment on whether or not I do or have or would or otherwise, or what I think about people that do. I'm just going to say that watching porn and participating with a known porn star and or town pump, local stud, because this goes for boys and girls. It don't matter to me. You're a slut. If you fucking go out and you're putting your penis and everything, you're a slut. You go out and let everything put their penis in you, you're a fucking slut. You're stupid, for one. I mean, you know what I mean? You're just stupid. You don't go put your... Anyway, eventually you go get something, or it's all bad. And here's the thing that people tend to not want to admit, Lord Quinn. When you put your penis into a vagina and do this, there is emotional real emotional things that are happening that you know. So when you do that, and it might not only to you, might not be, but there's all at least on one part, and to be honest, on both parts to some extent, but at least on one part there is. And oh man, you know, people go shoot up shit. We just had that woman that went to Google. Remember that? Well,
Yeah.
it was not too long ago. She was like the vegan queen on YouTube that had like 5 subscribers, about as many as I got. And she went there and just shoot dude up, man, because apparently she gave her some poontang, and it meant a lot more to her than it did to him.
I don't know. As I say, maybe I was just brought up with the older outlook on things, but I'm sorry, I'm a great believer in if you're going to be with someone, you're with someone fully. It's not just a sexual act. It's your responsibility to make sure the other person's enjoying himself too, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
you know?
Yes.
The whole point is this is supposed to be a pleasurable act for both of you.
Yes. Oh, and the point was, is it's time for intermission. I'm going to come back and do like at least a 10-minute and then final words. Lord Quinn, you're welcome to stay, haul ass, whatever you got to do, man. It's totally up to you. But
I will actually have to head, but thank you very much for having me on. It's
excellent.
Good to be back in contact again. You look after yourself and chat. Nice work, guys. Glad you're all here.
Perfect.
See you later, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, and that's perfect, man. That Lord Quinn is something else. He's a great guy to have around in the chat, to have here, and help me through a little bit of time. And you know, I don't never know what he'll do, and I never know what you all would do. So feel free to stick around. Feel free to haul ass. What do we got to do? But I'm gonna take about a 10-minute break while I play some music for you. And in that time, I'm going to say hi to my old lady. She just got back from shopping, and I'm going to pee. Thanks for being here. Remember to check out Pete Santilli when you're done checking out The Ogre. It's a great deal over there at Pete's channel. It's not only just great commentary from him on the news, and I mean, I keep learning more about him. Looks like he was involved with Clive and Bundy and those folks, which, you know, I know he did. Mr. Stoney is the one that told me he did 600 days, over 600 days in jail. I was like, wow, this guy. And I mean, who knows, man? The government to put you in jail, to call you a criminal, call you a felon, say that you hate freedom, and you're there saying, no, I love freedom. Why don't you give me some of it? You have me in this stinking cage with the water, softened water that's salty, no access to fresh water, or no privacy, no fresh air, no freedom of movement. Terrible, salted, preserved food meant to kill you. Just a horrible thing. 619 days. You know, that's too long. And for whatever he did, all I'm saying is I wouldn't feel any safer knowing that Pete Santilli was in jail. Are you kidding me? He doesn't seem to be any kind of risk. No kind of, I mean, it's crazy, man. So here you go. Let me see. We'll do something here for y'all. Not opening up. Oh, there we go. Enjoy some music. I will return.
Love the flow. 69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first. America first. Non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non non-fatal communication, very much higher. America first, to lead by an edit. Insiders fighting for insiders, time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders, more of insiders fighting for insiders, time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders, America first, love the flow. 69, now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first. America first, non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non-fatal. Communication very much higher. America first, to lead by an edit. Insiders fighting for insiders, time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders, more of insiders fighting for insiders, time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders, America first, love the flow.
In the final analysis, there's only would be you there alone. And whether you can triumphantly say, like Andrew Jackson, I killed the bank, or like Stonewall Jackson say, let's cross that river, go rest under the shade of those trees. It doesn't matter if you've made the decisions that make you free and you've resisted anything that would strip the freedom from you. Look, this is why I'm recommending, once again, I might sound like a shill. Look, I told him I joined this e-militia thing. And it's only so cool. If he cares to, he could leave a link to the e-militia. I wouldn't care. I made him a moderator for a reason. And so, I mean, when I joined it, I was like, yeah, I agree with this guy, Pete Santilli. So I'll say a few things about him and I'll mix it in with the things that I say because I agree with what he says. Not everything. He promotes InfoWars, for example, an awful lot. Most people know that I've lost complete faith in Alex Jones. He's given in to the left-right paradigm, and he's a member of the right now. He's not just promoting Donald Trump, but he used Donald Trump as almost like a window or a jumping off point to promote everything right-wing. And man, I don't buy into that shit. Both of them suck. There is no left, right that is good for you. There is no left destroying inner cities and the right going to save them. No, they both destroy. There's no savior there. They're all something to strip you of your rights and of your ability to make your own decision and have your own autonomy. Thank you, Tim Tarbucks. I mean to amuse you. But what is a man? What separates us from the beasts? It's not just the opposable thumb. It even, in my mind, goes beyond looking in the mirror and saying, I will one day die. I am here now, which, self-knowledge, self-awareness. In fact, it's a mixture of these two things. It's this creative spark. In fact, it's the pursuit of the knowledge of origin that would separate us from the lower beings, that there is something that created us. Or how did we come about, if you don't like that? How did we come about? Why, not necessarily why are we here, but how did we come about? These are things that I could never answer. I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, we can't always know. Sometimes it's only there to be pondered in the pensive moments, in the quiet times, in the dark of night, in the still breeze of a southern morning. Take the time to ponder. Take the time to think about what is important. Is it important that something allegedly landed on the Mars and there's a debate over whether or not it landed on Mars? I'm not even going to tell you what I think about it, if it landed on Mars or not. Who cares? What about this real thing that's happening right now where the fabric of society in this country, where there are powers that are trying to rip that fabric into pieces, to destroy what we've fought so long for? And they always say, well, the women fought for the right to vote. No. And how could they get the right to vote when they didn't vote? Men voted and gave them that right. Excuse me. You'd say because they were in the street, whatever. Somebody that was a male voted. Same thing with white males voted to get blacks to, all of it. If you have rights now at all, it was because somebody that was over you gave you the right to do. What we need to do collectively now is to ponder in those pensive moments, do we want to take it a step further and go the route of Clive and Bundy, of Pete Santilli, increasingly other people that I listen to, MCJK for sure. I don't want to talk too many others. I was thinking of Stefan Molyneux and some other folks, but especially Pete Santilli, MCJK, myself. This is the path to true. And listen to me carefully. I'm not trying to blow myself up, float my own canoe, toot my own horn. The path to enlightenment, the way to enlightenment is many masters, many gurus, many teachers. Look all around you. And if freedom is what you want, if it's something that you desire it for others. Don't say, well, oh, I do want freedom, but we need this law because I don't know what my neighbor's going to do. If that's what you say, then you don't believe in freedom. You don't want freedom at all. Freedom is not something you want for yourself, because your neighbor could say the same thing. And wouldn't you have to agree with them if they said they didn't trust you enough? So saying you want laws to tell you what to do is saying that you don't trust yourself, that you need a great God of government to tell you how to think, how to act, what music to listen to, what books to read, what schools to send your children to, what vaccines they should get, what religion you can believe in. And for the record, I believe in school for now, they should teach just, if they want to teach evolution, that's fine. It's fine. Let creationists teach their own children. Let children decide for themselves. They've been doing it for years. It's fine. So on that happy note, please join us over there. Thanks for coming by. Good old folks there. Ain't Jack good to see you? He says, on the hammer and on the anvil of evolution, wielded by a goddess. Nice, man. I like that. On the hammer and on the anvil of evolution, wielded by a goddess, from Ain't Jack there. Oh, thank you, baby. Is that for my glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Ogre got me some stuff I can spray on my safety glasses that will keep them from getting fogged up. Thank you. Tim Tarbox says, I want Ogre to give Lily the right to more screen time. All right. And on that happy note, folks, I could go on for a little bit longer, but I got 11 minutes. So it's easy for me to sit here, right, and say, think of freedom in the pensive moments and choose freedom, or you don't want freedom for yourself, if you want to make a law for someone else. But if you consider it, the argument is always, well, who would pay for the roads? Do you not think that Procter and Gamble would get together with Georgia Pacific and you name it? Do you not think that the people that have the money, that run the corporations, would get together and make roads anyway? Oh, you'd have to pay to get on. Not you pay now via taxes, and it never ends. You pay whether or not you ride up and down the road. And what are they going to charge you? They're going to charge you, a penny a mile at going rate on the turnpike. What is it? A couple, 3 cents a mile, depending upon where you're at. Well, let them do it. You do it all over the East Coast anyway. Memes is still watching. Memes saying, well, they charge me now anyway. I can't go up to the corner store without paying a toll. If you live in Massachusetts, any of these places, it's the way it is. It's just the way it is. Also, folks, I got to get taken off. Man, it's only 3 o'clock. At 2 hours before I can eat. I'm hungry. I'm not eating lunch, but till we meet again, hopefully see you over there at Pete Santilli's show. You'll see Mr. Stonley there, and we'll have a good time. You just see me put out 10 minutes. It'll be fun over there. You see the link right there. Join us there. We were over there yesterday. And for those of you, Tim Tarbox, those of you got time, join us over there again tonight, man. Ain't Jack, I didn't see you over there last night, Ain't Jack, which is fine, but you really would enjoy that, where Mr. Stonley just left that link. You'd love it over there. Matt Barkley, all y'all, see y'all over there if you can make it. Until then, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Because constant viewer, new guy, Mr. Stonley, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and everything you know will depart from you. Yeah, I'll see you over at Pete Santilli's show.